The biggest reason essays take forever to write is because you've been taught to write the introduction first. It is the single worst piece of writing advice you can follow. How can you possibly introduce something that you haven't even written yet? Today I'm going to show you how to write your essay 10 times faster by flipping the writing process upside down. It doesn't matter what type of essay you're writing, from an argumentative to a reflective essay. If you're trying to write your introduction first, you're doing it the hard way. Remember all of those movie trailers you've ever seen. There's no way that producers could make that movie trailer before they've even made the movie. It would be absolutely impossible because they don't know what that final movie is going to look like. Well, the same thing goes for your essay. How could you possibly put those teasers in your introduction? By sitting down and trying to write your introduction, you're somehow trying to come up with your entire essay in one go and squeeze it into a couple of sentences at the start. It's almost impossible, and all it really does is lead to writer's block. And I can promise you that's going to happen every single time you try and write an introduction, not just of essays, but of anything. So the best thing you can do is to stop writing the introduction. So what should you do instead? Well, let's assume that you have an essay to complete. We're going to break down the process into 5 steps. And step 1 is determining or deciding your answer. Now, this might seem obvious, but it's actually a step that's often skipped or done incompletely. Every essay question or prompt is asking you for a direct answer, and it doesn't matter what type of essay you have to write, from a reflective to a persuasive, they're always asking you for an answer. Your answer then needs reasons why that is your answer, because that's what an essay is about. So before we get started, make sure you download my free assignment decoder guide linked in the description below. It has a complete breakdown of all the common academic words you see in your essay questions and translates them into plain English. So whether you have the word examine, evaluate, or analyze, you're going to know exactly what you need to do for your essay. It's free, it's fast, and it's going to make everything that we cover in this video click even faster. Once you've decided on your answer to your essay question, we're then going to write it down in a single sentence. And that is going to make up your thesis statement. If you're not sure how to write one, you can watch this video here where I give you a step-by-step formula to write your own in less than a minute. Now, it's important that we write this thesis statement and decide on our answer because it's going to give our entire essay direction. It is literally our compass to tell us where we need to go and what we need to write next. Without it, it's impossible to write your body paragraphs. So step 1 is decide your answer, write it down in a single sentence with your reasons why. Now, if you're stuck there and you can't come up with all of the reasons for your answer, then it's a great time to stop and do ideation or research, because there's no way you're going to be able to write paragraphs on your answer if you're not quite sure of why yet. Figure out your why first, and then we can move on to step 2. Step 2 is to write the body paragraphs. That's the largest section of the essay. It has all the juicy bits in it. The easiest and fastest way to do this is to take each of the reasons that you put in your thesis statement, and you're going to separate them out as bullet points. Each of those bullet points, or each of those reasons, is going to become one of your body paragraphs. Now, because you're not worried about your introduction or anything that's come before it, you can focus on each individual paragraph and nailing it, getting it right and writing it quickly. You have your bullet point, and all you need to do is expand on that and make sure that your paragraph only talks about that individual bullet point, that reason that you've put down in your answer. Now, there is a trick that you can use to double check that your paragraphs stay on point, and that is to read the first sentence of your paragraph and then the last and skip everything in between. If they make sense together, then your paragraph has stayed on point. But if they don't, it usually means that you've drifted off on topic or you've started talking about something else, and you need to go back and fix that paragraph. Write one paragraph, then move on to your next bullet point and write that paragraph. You're going to move through that one paragraph at a time until your body section is complete. I promise you it will happen so much faster than if you started with your introduction first. Remember, the body section is where the magic happens. This is where all of your detail goes, all of the descriptions and information that you want to provide on each of your main points or your reasons. It goes here. It doesn't go in your introduction and it doesn't go in your conclusion. So you can focus most of your energy and time on this section. Once you've gone through each of your bullet points and turned them into paragraphs, we can then move on to step 3. And step 3 is to write your conclusion. Now you might be wondering why we write the conclusion before the introduction. Well, it's because you've just written all of your body paragraphs. So now you have all of that information inside your head. That makes it really easy to summarize or synthesize and put together in a couple of sentences. The way to do that is to think of your main points, look at the first sentence of each of your body paragraphs, and then you want to reduce that down to just 1 or 2 sentences. Another way to think of it is that you're restating your thesis statement. You always want to bring it back to that because that's your answer to the essay question. Then right at the end, you want to add a strong final statement. I find the best way to do that is to somehow add a little bit of the future to it. So it could be about a consequence in the future if things don't change, or what things could change. Or if it was a reflective essay, how you would do things differently in the future. Adding that adds a little bit of a nuance to your essay and makes it really stand out. But the main thing here is that your conclusion will be really clear because you've just finished writing your body paragraphs. That is clear in your mind and that leads to clear writing. You've just spent the last few pages proving your point. Now you're going to show why that matters in your conclusion. And that can be easy to do by using that final future statement. Okay, so far we've written the thesis statement, your body paragraphs, and your conclusion, and that's happened all really quickly. So now we're going to move on to the next step, which is, yes, writing your introduction. And you'll have noticed we've flipped that process upside down. So now we're writing our introduction last. We've helped ourselves out here though, because we've already written the thesis statement, and that's going to go towards the end of the introduction. But the first sentence we need is a hook, and it's also what the topic of your entire essay is. So you can think about it being like your thesis statement, where it highlights what the topic is, but it doesn't give your answer. You're not giving any of those secrets away yet. Just like the movie trailer, you're setting the scene of your essay. So when someone picks up your essay and they read that first sentence, they know generally what the essay is going to be about. Now, the best way to do that is by making a statement sentence. A statement sentence states exactly what you want to say, but it doesn't give away any detail or any information. So if you find yourself sneaking in a comma and adding some info, then you want to delete that and come back to a short, simple statement. And that also makes hooks easier to write too, because they're more powerful. Short and simple sentences are powerful. They're easy to read and they're easy to understand and they're easy to write. Now, because your first sentence of that introduction is a strong and clear statement about what your essay topic is, the next sentence is going to be really easy for you to write because all you're going to do now is give some background information, some explanation or extra detail to that statement sentence. You're just filling in the gaps. And then we pop in our thesis statement. If you'd like more help with writing your introduction step by step, then you can watch this video here. And what you're going to find is that writing your introduction is almost effortless. You're not going to be sitting there staring at a page wondering what to write because you've already written everything. And also brings us to step 5, which is editing. Once you've got a complete draft of anything, you always want to go through and edit it, just like our movie and movie trailer. Because everything is done separately and now you're putting something together, you want to just make sure that it's cohesive, that it makes sense, and of course all those standard spelling and grammar points too. You don't want to miss out on easy marks if you can avoid it. But what you'll find is your essay, it flows, it makes sense because of the way we wrote it, because of this process. So click the link in the description below to grab your free assignment decoder. It's going to guide you through understanding what your essay question is asking you for and help you put everything that we've covered today into practice. I'm Dr. Teresa Orr. I'll see you in the next video.